A prenuptial agreement is a contract which parties enter into before they get married, and it sets out exactly what is going to happen to the financial matrimonial pot if they are going to get divorced. So it encompasses what assets and liabilities they have and clearly sets out what is going to happen should the relationship end. They are usually considered by people who are obviously going to get married, and they have assets which they are wanting to protect. So it tends to be people who are widows and they want to protect inheritance, people who have previously got divorced and had a financial settlement which they are wanting to protect, people who are bringing in more money into the matrimonial pot and they want to ensure those assets that they've accrued prior to the marriage are also protected. It's also important for people who have children from previous relationships if they want to ensure that their children are going to get the assets if there is a divorce as opposed to their new husband or wife. Prenuptial agreements are not legislated for, which means there is no law which says that a prenuptial agreement is binding. You're reliant upon case law. This means that in real terms it's done on a case-by-case basis, looking at all of the facts. The case law is very clear though that there are certain principles you need to follow when you draft the prenuptial agreement. Both parties need to have legal advice, and usually the solicitor signs a certificate to confirm that legal advice has been obtained. There needs to be full financial disclosure of all the matrimonial assets and liabilities, and usually a schedule is attached to the prenuptial agreement setting all that information out. There can't be any duress, so if you are about to get married in a few days' time, that can be argued that there has been duress because you want the wedding to take place. So we usually advise clients to try and get the prenup signed at least 4 to 6 weeks prior to the wedding. Is an agreement in place? It needs to be fair, because Section 25 of the Matrimonial Causes Act isn't going to be overridden by a prenuptial agreement, and when a judge considers that if there is a divorce, if it's an unfair agreement, it will just instantly be dismissed. Yes, they should be reviewed on a regular basis. There's usually a standard clause in a prenuptial agreement to say they will get reviewed every 5 years. Once a prenuptial agreement is reviewed, it becomes a post-nuptial agreement as it occurred during the marriage, and it's really important that it is reviewed as a life event occurs and changes in circumstances happen. So for example, if a child is born into the marriage, it needs to be reviewed. If there is inheritance received, it needs to be reviewed. If there is significant wealth generated, for example, by a business, it also needs to be reviewed, just so it's clear that there has always been an intention as to what is going to happen in the event of a divorce.